Hello, I'm Peter Jurasik. I played Ambassador Lando Molare on Babylon 5. You're watching Madman Cafe. However, in the old days, the great days of the Republic, you would be spying all the Brevare, Hadjala, and Spoo.
Live from high atop his mountain fortress, it's the show that's 100 organic, 40 caffeinated, and at least 50 feet away from all historical monuments. He's the man who once successfully argued with a GPS until it started crying. He's faster than a speeding snail and capable of overthinking a greeting card at a single bound. Hide your snacks and lock your doors. Here's the madman.
Welcome to another edition of the Madman Cafe. We got a special one for you today. We're going to be talking about Remo Williams. That's right. If you remember that Fred Ward movie years ago, we're going to be talking about that today. And we got a special guest with a lot of info on this as well. But before we start, don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit the like. Be sure to share these videos, these live streams to everyone out there. Also, don't forget, join the movement. We do have a t-shirt shop, Q2CAST.com. Get 10% off all gear. The promo code is Stay Mad. Of course, the Stay Curious, Stay Informed, Stay Mad t-shirts are available, including the Let Anime Speak. It's available out there, so do check them out. They are limiting sizes on certain ranges. The big sizes are available. Smaller sizes are a bit of an issue. So let's bring in our regular panelist. Unfortunately, Sci-Fi Snob will be a little late. He will be with us very soon on there. But joining us first is Outpost Nerd.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, that's right. Dean also won't be with us today, but also do catch his channel later at 6 p.m. We'll give you that information when is available. And now, ladies and gentlemen, first time at the cafe is the editor at Critical Blast. It is RJ Carter with us.
Oh, that's me. Hello.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the cafe.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
How you doing today? How are you feeling?
Oh, I feel good. You know, it's another day above ground, and that's always a good thing.
Oh, yeah, that's always good. That's good. Now, for those people out there who does not know what Critical Blast is, could you give them a quick synopsis of what the publishing company is?
Critical Blast, wow. Critical Blast was born out of my love of free stuff. I was working for a website for several years that was doing reviews of movies and books and DVDs, and the guy said, you know what, close it down. No, I'm not going to give the site away. It's going to go into obscurity. And I'm like, but I was having fun. So Misha Collins has joined the cast of the show now.
Oh,
but,
hello.
Yes, that's our cat's name, Misha Collins. But anyway, I decided that I wasn't tired of getting all the free DVDs to review. So I set up my own website, reached out to all the contacts and said, we're here now. And so we had the website. And along the way, I was a writer. Published by Telos in England and published by Destroyer Books for the Destroyer novels. I'm like, I see what they're doing. I think I can do that. So we slowly started edging into the publishing field. And our first full novel was Bulletproof by I wanted to say Stephen J. Cannell, but I don't think we published him yet. But it's out there. I'd have to go look back up again. I'm sorry, Stephen. I know it's a Stephen. And it was a superhero story, but in novel form, and it did okay. But as we started growing the business out, we're actually in the position where this money stuff is showing up now, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it.
Now you have me. Let me tell you something. One of your commercials has me like just singing it every time. It's in my head. Monsters Next Door. I mean, that's just, every time Jason on Sci-Fi for Me TV plays that, I'm just sitting going back going, Monsters Next Door,
Yeah, that's a jazzy one.
It's it's a really great song on there. I hear the book, it's a graphic novel also, I would assume.
It is not. It's an anthology.
It's an anthology.
It's an anthology. We do usually 2 anthologies a year. We did the Monsters Next Door. This was more Monsters Next Door. And that's we just put the premise out there and put out a call for stories. It's like, okay, this is real world setting. It's a subdivision, and maybe Cthulhu's got a summer house in the cul-de-sac, or maybe it's Manhattan and Dracula has an apartment. It's literally.
Oh, I love that.
It's literally the Munsters and the Addams families played straight. There's a monster next door. What's going to happen? What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to work, he pays taxes, he does all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have
the
to
one
get
we're
that.
wrapping up right now is Fantastic Journeys. It's all portal stories. So we're looking forward to getting that one out the door.
I love anthology stories. I love just the freedom it gives writers to just come up with anything. Yeah. I love like Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, all those old anthology shows that we don't really get anymore.
Yeah, you don't
the last great one we
building.
had was they allow you to create great stories in short time and kind of like lessons almost, because a lot of like Black Mirror, which was the last, in my opinion, great anthology TV series, had a lot of like cautionary tales in it.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna look up that's awesome.
My favorite Black Mirror episode. I can't recall the title of it because there's no more room in my brain to store titles and stuff. But it was the one where the lady had to get a chunk of her brain replaced and on a subscription basis, so it kept backing up, and then they kept upping the subscription, or she'd be lapsing into commercial mode and would start spamming people in their conversations. That was like everything they did was like what we can do right now plus just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes. It was like, how far would they be willing to go? How far will science go in the next like 10, 15 years? It's like maybe we need to think about pulling back a little bit. Such good stories. That's why I love anthology type shows.
But what you're here for, and I tell you, I haven't read it in a long time, and I'm going to start reading these again. Back, when they made the movie with Fred Ward, I had to go back and read the novel because someone said, "Oh yeah, these were made on the novels." The Destroyer series. Now, could you, for the viewers out there that don't know what the Destroyer series is, how does it link to Remo Williams and all that? Could you give it like a little explanation on that?
Sure. Well, Remo Williams, he is the Destroyer. He works for an agency called Cure. Cure is one man. And this is it. And it doesn't matter which book you pick up, by the way. The books all follow the same formula. Chapter 1, somebody is killed after they discover something horrendous, and now who is going to tell the world that the government has a plan to turn all our brains into Swiss cheese? Chapter 2 is introducing Remo, wrapping up a case that he's on, and he's basically the answer to that question. Chapter 2 always starts, his name was Remo, and his jacket was on fire. And then Chapter 3 introduces Cure. Cure is Harold Smith. It was a 2-man operation, became a 1-man operation, and all they could do was like identify problems that needed to be addressed, but could not be addressed by the FBI or the CIA or basic standard law enforcement. It was an agency that was implemented by a past president who was later shot. Basically Kennedy, but I hate tying it to a point in history because now everybody starts a ticking clock going on. It's like, wow, he's really old now. So I'm like, yeah, he was set up by a president. We're going to forget that it's Kennedy. But the agency was set up to defend the Constitution by operating outside the Constitution. And the president can't give them assignments. All he can do is decide when to shut them down. So they operate completely autonomously to save the world. And there's all kinds of computer connections that Smith's got in place. But what Smith couldn't do, because he's an old man, is make that final solution to a problem. So they had to find someone who could be their hands on the ground. So now Cure became 2 people, him and Remo Williams. Remo was a police officer. They identified him. They selected him. He didn't have much of a family. There was no one was going to miss this guy, and he had a patriotic streak to him. So they killed him. They framed him for for killing a drugger, the pusher guys, and they summarily rushed him to the execution chamber and electrocuted him. But they faked it. So when Remo wakes up, they're like, hey, you know what? We're going to train you to become our assassin. You're going to take out people. Well, what if I don't want to do it? Well, no problem if you don't want to do it. We've already got a tombstone out there with your name on it. We just got to put you under it. Thus was born the Destroyer. Now, he didn't know a thing. They hired the master of Sinanju, Master Chun, to come in and teach him. First time Master Chun, anyone has ever taught a white person Sinanju. He didn't want to do it, but the fact that they told him Remo was a dead man piqued his interest, because now there's prophecy involved. There's lore, and they get to build all this world stuff around it.
Yeah.
Long story
how
short,
many novels? I'm sorry to interrupt.
155.
155. Wow.
Not counting short story anthologies and novellas.
Does that include the Marvel Comics also?
No, it doesn't include the Marvel Comics.
Oh my God! Of course,
those
obviously,
were Will Murray stories that he wrote specifically for the comics. Those aren't even adaptations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, for the viewers, of course, that knows the Remo Williams, it was made in the movie with Fred Ward and Joel Grey. And most people don't know that there was a pilot done with Jeffrey Meek and Roddy McDowell.
No, that's completely Mandela effect. You're imagining this for that did not happen.
And as I said, there was a Marvel comic that was put out for quite some time on there. But
Two of them, actually.
What was your personal introduction to Remo Williams, and what hooked you?
Okay, so I mentioned that I was writing reviews for a website,
right?
And among them were book reviews. And a friend of mine where I worked said, "Hey, are you going to review the new Destroyer book?" I was like, "What's the new Destroyer book?" Now I had seen the movie, and I didn't have any background on it. I was like, "Okay, that was a fun movie." I walked away from it and didn't see it again for years. And so he told me, it's like, "Oh yeah, the Remo Williams movie." I didn't know that. This was the time when the contract for the books had been transferred over to Tor. So they were producing 4 new books called the Tor 4 in the fandom. And I picked up the first one, and I was like, this is actually a hoot. I had not read these things. And I saw all kinds of fun things that I could do with it. So I asked him, I was like, "Hey, do they ever do like a fan anthology series?" He's like, "Well, they did one a long time ago, but I don't think they're ever going to do another one." Less than a year later, they put out a call for another one. So I'm like, I know exactly what I'm going to do, because I had researched all the villains, and there's very few recurring villains, because if you're an assassin and you have recurring villains, you're really not doing your job very well.
And they have a great amount of, most people don't realize, you got an element of science fiction in this that they basically, most people don't realize it wasn't really put into the movie. That there's like super soldiers and vampires and,
time travel.
Yeah.
Gods, that kind of thing. Holy crap.
There's mysticism. There's a shape-changing android who lives only to survive. There's an AI that functions only to create profit. And this was in the 70s. This was in the 70s that Friend was in.
Wow.
Yeah. This is like, it's amazing. Now, I've seen the cover, and I don't think most people haven't seen the cover yet. I have it here. This is a beautiful cover.
Thank you. I didn't do it, but thank you.
Who's doing all the artwork for this?
George Peter Gatsis is doing all the artwork. Most people on internet know him for his Blue Muppet character Joe King, because he likes to do the more cartoony stuff. But he's also a very good painter, and he's the lead of our creative department. So he was with me from the very beginning, and as we've grown out, I'm like, you know what, you're partner in the business now. So you take over all the art chores and hand them out, and I'll take over all the cashing of the checks and not hand those out unless I have to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this cover. People have said, "Hey, look, you used Timothy Dalton for a model for the character." I'm like, no. If you go back and find the very first printing of Created the Destroyer, we used a Hector Garrido's original artwork on that cover said, "Hey, you know what? Let's model our Remo on the very first appearance of Remo."
Yeah, that's what we were using on some of the thumbnails that on the ads that we were using. We had inserted those covers, into there when we advertised for this on there.
And that's what we also tried to emulate with this cover. I'm pointing to my screen like y'all can see that, because Hector had these great montage pieces on all the old covers there. They were shrunk down to postage stamps, God help us. But they were beautiful. They were like Remo and Chun and some action and some guns and a beautiful chick wearing next to nothing, and a helicopter or a jeep. It was really good stuff. Very 70s pulp stuff.
Oh yeah. What were the biggest challenges in adapting a heavy pulp novel like this into a medium, into the graphic novel range?
Well, the biggest challenge with this one specifically is that there are 2 books involved. The first one is the first book, which was Created the Destroyer. Now, when Mr. Murphy and Mr. Sapir sat down to create this in the early 60s, the country was just discovering this exotic, esoteric, very mystic, unfathomable martial art known as karate. It was brand new to everyone in the U.S. So that's what the original book had Remo learning. As things progressed, suddenly karate was like, oh yeah, like second graders are taking this now. After school training, they created Sinanju. Now, the way I try to explain Sinanju to people is, if the Library of Congress was Sinanju and you went in with a Post-it note to write down everything verbatim that you could and walk out of it in 10 minutes, what you would come out with is Ninja. So that's how wide and varied Sinanju is. They realized this way later on, and James Mullaney was contacted to write up a novella. And he ghost wrote a lot of the later novels too. By the way, they're great books. They're the ones that are the fun reads. And he wrote The Day Remo Died, which was a retelling of Created the Destroyer, but with the Sinanju element inserted into it and the legend and prophecy elements inserted into it, and a little bit more of the fun dynamics. So to tell this story, we've got to create the first book, and then we've got to find out where the new book inserts and replaces, and keep the chronology straight so that we can kind of tell both stories. Because the novella was a 6-chapter deal, which was largely written to people who already knew the story. What we're trying to do is introduce to a whole new audience, keep all the elements, but blend them with the elements from The Day Remo Died and make a cohesive story. After this one, the rest will be cake, because they're only like little 27-chapter pocketbooks, and we can just take them directly from the novels. We don't have to sit there and figure out all the editorial switches and switchbacks.
Now, this one, how many pages is this one? Did you say this was the biggest?
I asked George this morning because I started trying to price this out, and he said he sees this being a 300-page book.
Whoa, my God.
Mind you, this is a 300-page A4 sized book. So this is going to be magazine size, like Savage Sword of Conan size. You showed the Marvel Destroyer comics. Marvel also did a Destroyer magazine, which was the A4 size stuff. So it's going to be tall and it's going to be fat. And it's going to be hardcover on top of the softcover.
Now, obviously, in the Destroyer, there's a lot of action and stuff like that. How important is the choreography and the movement when translating Sinanju into the comic panels?
Lord. So you're asking me to be martial arts accurate to a fictional martial arts.
You have the fans out there. I mean, come on, we've grown up. You said this is from the 70s. I'm a person who grew up, of course, obviously with the Hong Kong martial art flicks and all that, all those crazy, Pai Mei, the original Pai Mei, not the one that was in Kill Bill, to that point, with the exploding heart technique, which now Rick and Morty is taking advantage of that one.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, you got scenes where in one of the books, I know Remo put his hand on somebody's face and just like suctioned and just twisted and twisted and twisted until the guy's face was literally rearranged. Like, how would we ever possibly put this into a comic book? But there's a secret that writers use. I'm going to let you in on it here, so all your viewers can pick up on it. We make it up as we go along.
Mhm.
It's going to look martial artsy, but the fact that someone could say that's not a true karate stance, or no, jujitsu wouldn't do that. We're like, it's Sinanju. What do you know about Sinanju? I know what you know about Sinanju. You know nothing. All you know about Sinanju is that Remo punches someone and Chun says you still bent your elbow.
So how's Remo and Chung being visualized represented in this format?
Oh, you mean what do they look like?
Yeah, how they're being represented. Yeah, because I know, looking at the cover, and I see already there's like a little bit of difference with Chung. You know, he looks a little bit more older, more, you know, like I said, out of a Hong Kong flick on there. Oh, you just added something to the scene. Let me just bring that up on there.
Chun was always described as old enough to look like a wind would blow him over. He just had little tufts of hair on his temple. He had a little tuft of hair on his chin and the two little sprigs for his mustache. So he's going to look like, you know, if you bumped into him, you'd break a hip.
Can I just say, at first glance, I thought that was like stills from a movie. That is beautifully drawn.
It's some lovely artwork. This is all digitally painted.
Oh wow! Yeah, it looked like movie scenes almost.
Now this is a training scene here where now this is the fun part, is that a lot of the training scenes up to the mission were glossed over. So we kind of get to fill this out and say, hey, you know what if there's a training scene that did this? What if there's a training scene that did that? This is a training scene where Chun has said, you need to topple these posts, but you can't touch them. You can't make contact with them. So, so Remo's at it for a very, very long time throwing these ghost punches.
Yeah, and I noticed that Mr. Smith does not look like Wilford Brimley.
No. He did. I was not crazy about that casting, but you know what? I was happy to have a movie. Yeah, Dr. Harold W. Smith at Fulcroft Sanitarium, which is a real sanitarium despite being a cover for Cure, looks more like this guy here. This is where he's asking Chun basically if Remo's going to be ready. Chun's like, well, you know, I'm going to need another 25, 30 years of teaching. He's like, no, we got a case now he has to take on. So Chun is looking it over. So, you know, sure. All Chun really wants is the gold.
I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, this is some gorgeous art.
The fun part is that, you know, Chun wears so many ornate kimonos. We just keep cycling through them. It's a big thing with Chun, is that, you know, he's always wearing something, the most garish outfit you can imagine, and yet is invisible in a crowd when he wants to be.
Just like I'm looking at like the details on like that control panel in the bottom left. It's blowing. Oh, and like the dust on the books, it looks like oh my god, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be. It could be a movie, I think. You're right. It looks like it should come right out of the movie. Maybe back up a few more here, see if I don't give too much more away. This is where we started, I think. Yeah, this is Remo and Chun and Smith sitting down talking.
I mean, this is fantastic.
Oh,
wow.
Good.
Wow, just the gloss on it.
Yeah,
just like off his jacket, the lighting and the gloss.
It almost looks like they're wet from the mist.
Yeah, well, it's raining.
Like some artists would just kind of just gloss over that detail, but in here, oh my!
This is Remo's just been sent after some mobsters as a test mission. This is a test training mission. He's chasing this guy in the rain across the rooftops. The guy's climbing over the edge. And he's looking down. He's like, "Oh crap!" It's like way down there. Remo's like, "Here, let me help you," and just pushes him, and he lands in on a garbage truck, and he starts laughing. He's like, "Oh, what? Look!" And then suddenly, no longer 2 stories, 3 stories up, Remo's right there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm no longer in luck." He went from being way up on the building to right there in a second. Not Remo smoking. That's another mobster. A lot of mobsters in the first book because that's who the Destroyer was going after, was mafia kind of people. The entire book was set to parody both James Bond and the Executioner.
Okay.
And that's what a lot of the stuff really was parody and satire. It's an action book, but it was an action book with a sense of humor to it, and a sense of sexiness to it, which we got to have in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, are there any specific stories or arcs that you were most excited to adapt to this?
All of them, really. I mean, we get to do the outrageous stuff. We're not going to do all of them because a couple of the very early ones, we're finding their bearings, getting their wheels going, and there were some hits and misses. But we're gonna skip from 1 to 3. We're not going to number them, so they won't look like they're out of sequence. So we won't be able to really tie them back by number. But the next one we plan to do is a Chinese puzzle, which was book number 3. And then I think we're going to skip to number 5. The title escapes me for number 5. Mafia War or something like that.
That's not Dr. Quake, is it? Or is that
Mafia Fix? Dr. Quake is, we're definitely doing Dr. Quake because I have to do the daughters. The daughters were the first villains that I reprised when I got to take on the series. Because what happened, I mentioned there was a fan anthology and I wrote for it. And I wrote this Remo Williams Batman crossover story that they bought.
That sounds amazing.
It was, I had to de-trademarkify everything, but it was clearly Batman.
Yeah.
And Devin called me up and said, hey, we're going to put the story in the anthology. Do you make sure you know that? I said, great, I get a copy, right? And I said, oh, yeah. We think you got the voice for the characters down rather well. Would you like to take over the series for a while? Yeah, okay, sure. I'll do that. And so Bully Pulpit was the first book that I wrote for the Destroyer series. And I took Dr. Quake's daughters back because they had the earthquake knowledge of their dad. Plus, they were really fun, sexy, taboo kind of characters to write.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Now, with the way everything's been going lately, as far as in Hollywood and over in Japan and all that with animation and stuff like that, do you see this being redone as an animation on these stories?
I don't know. It would be fun. That wouldn't be my call. That would be, Devin Murphy and Murphy Publications, Murphy Media Publications to take over. But I'm sure if somebody came to Devin with a plan and a proposal and said, "Hey, we can make some money," he'd probably say, "Okay, let's do it." I know that I want to take all of this and I want to do, after I do the graphic novels, I'd really like to do them all as mangas.
Ooh, that'd
be amazing.
And full black and white reading.
Introduce that to Japan. Introducing that to Japan, I think they would love it. To that point, it is a great story on there. So when can we expect this? The first?
As soon as possible. My plan, and George is far more optimistic on this than I am. My plan is to do 4 a year.
Okay.
George says, no, once we get the first one out of the way, we've got the process in place. We'll do 12 a year. I'm like, okay. We'll maintain a Batman schedule with this level of art.
Will there be any like T-shirts or anything like that being sold with this?
I haven't designed any
merchandise.
We'd be happy to do it. I mean, we've got a rather generous contract for all parties involved. And I do believe that, we can do ancillary product under the same contract, as long as we know.
Because that would be the artwork would look great on a T-shirt. That would people would be fun.
We did do the poster, which we're going to put up in our store. I don't know if you can see it behind me there, but I've got it hanging up. It's just the cover. It's just the cover, but it's a 20 by 24 size poster of the front of the main cover.
Okay.
Hold on, we're a little lost here. Hold on.
So I have.
There we go.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. See if we can get
Everybody's
a
looking at
closer
my.
shot.
Everybody's looking at the rainbow poster. Get your eyes off the rainbow poster. Look at the Destroyer poster.
Get your eyes out. Get your head out of the gutter. I would hang that up because that's the covering, the artwork on this knocked it out of the park. Oh my god,
that knocks it. Yeah, that really knocks it on there.
Well, that's the hope. I mean, we're going to do this, like I said, as an A4, but we're also going to do a hardcover. We're also going to do a manga size. I don't want to say manga because it's not going to be black. It's going to be the same book, but it's going to be the 5x8, 5x7 size that you can take with you on an airplane and read.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
I know Outpost got a bunch. He has a list of questions for you.
Got a
Outpost,
few questions.
you take it from here.
You say you don't want the story tied down to like a certain timeline because that's how like he was created. The Cure was started by Kennedy, but you don't want to keep like yourself. You don't want it to be like Judge Dredd, who have Remo aging in real time.
Exactly.
So how will these stories reflect modern times? Because one thing I read in my research, Remo is kind of an idiot when it comes to technology.
Yes.
Like I heard you say one time he was given a smartphone and he's just pressing it, trying to figure out how to call Smith, and he's like, how do I do that? How do I call Smith? Calling Mr. Smith.
Yes, I introduced that into the stories. That was my giveaway to the Destroyer mythos. So he's got that now. Yeah, Remo was he's not an idiot. I mean, the man was well trained, both in the military and of course, in Sinanju afterwards. So
okay.
He doesn't care. He doesn't want to learn stuff that he doesn't know.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, they were supposed to, give him a new identity and everything. And certainly when he goes on cases, he's Remo Blomberg, he's Remo Schmidt, but they can't change his first name because he won't respond to anything else. So he's always Remo something. But, when Cure set up a contact number for him, the only number Smith could come up with that would work was 1-111. 111 1111, because Remo was just going to press the button until somebody answered. And so when he was given the smartphone, he was like, how do I call Smitty? Calling Smitty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's that easy.
Yeah. I love how that's kind of almost like his kryptonite. It's like I have a parents who are just that old school. Like, I don't really care to learn this. Why should I learn this? So I can kind of relate because I'm always getting calls like, "Hey, I need your help with this. How do I do this?" And I find that so funny. Like, you mentioned too, like, you really kind of had, when the audience was getting older, you had to give them a smartphone because there aren't payphones anymore.
No, there aren't.
No, I remember working at a grocery store in the early 2000s, and we had a payphone, and one day they took it out. So a lot of people don't know what a payphone is, but I find that hilarious that this world-class assassin could just be like stumped by a touchscreen.
Yeah, and he would just put his fist through it after a minute anyway. But the thing is that you've got fans that are like, Remo is currently now 75 years old, but Sinanju keeps him from aging. I'm like, why do we do that? Why? Archie was driving a jalopy in 1942, and he's driving, pretty much a compact car right now in 2026, and he's still in high school. We don't have to. We don't have to explain it. We just tell the story.
It's like The Simpsons, Bart and Lisa, the world's oldest, like 9 and 10-year-olds.
Exactly.
They don't. It's just,
and that's even if you just say that every Simpsons episode took a day of real time to happen.
Yes. I was literally, Simpsons came out and I was born a month later. So I'm that young.
I'm old enough to remember The Simpsons on the Tracy Ullman Show as little shorts that intersplit between the commercial.
Mm-hmm. I love like cinema history, like Dan Castellaneta doing the Walter Matthau impression originally for Homer, and he just said it just got too painful. I couldn't do it anymore, so I had to come to something else. One thing I love, like hero stories. Remo isn't like your typical superhero. You've said for he's an assassin.
Right.
He has no qualms killing. How would you say writing a character like that who has no he wouldn't well Remo thinking about it he probably would stop stop the robber from robbing the convenience store, but other like assassins different from writing a hero per se, like a superhero, like a Batman. You compare him to Batman quite a bit.
Yeah.
How would how's the writing process different?
Well, Remo's happy if he
those-
doesn't have to kill, because if he's just told kill this person, he's not that keen. He has to have like a real reason for it. But at the same time, he'll find people who have done the most heinous things, and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this. And he'll take them out in the most creative ways possible.
Yeah, that I love that.
I think there was a one of the books, and it wasn't mine. I want to say it was Jim Mulaney's, where not O.J. Simpson was out on the golf course, and not O.J. Simpson was playing golf while Remo was just standing way off in the distance, and then not O.J. Simpson swung the club, and as soon as he swung the club, Remo threw a golf ball at a tree, and it ricocheted off the tree and hit him right in the temple and took him out.
Oh, that is awesome. To me, listening to you, Sinanju seems to be like almost more less karate and more like crouching tiger, hidden dragon kind
Very
of martial
mystical.
art.
It's there's a scene in one of the books where Remo says to Smitty's like, I'm learning stuff that I can't explain. I'm starting to do things that don't make sense to me. And Smith is like, what? And Remo grabs the steering wheel and snaps his finger, and an inch of the steering wheel disappears. It's not in his hand. It's not crumbled to dust. It's gone. And Smith is like, put it back. He's like, I can't do that.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
So it's almost like Dragon Ball Z kind of esque martial arts. Almost like I can do this. I can't explain it, but I can do it.
Yeah,
that's just fascinating.
And tons of scrolls to learn from. So.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Because I remember I heard you describe once like he's like running over like wet tissue paper and not breaking.
Yes, Chun. One of the training sessions was Chun would lay out basically wet toilet paper on the floor, and he had to walk across it barefoot and not tear it.
God, that is amazing. That I love these martial. I'm a big fan of like Chinese martial arts movies, and this has the
Chinese martial arts. Now let's be very, very careful here because we don't want Master Chun coming into the chat.
Yes, I realize that.
There's a reason why. If you've ever seen the symbol of Sinanju, that's sort of like this trapezoidal character with a slash going through the middle of it. That's also the symbol for China. So some people have said, "Oh, you stole the symbol for China and just decided that you needed some sort of a character that was Asian, and you just use that for Sinanju." No. What happened was that Sinanju was hired by one of the Chinese emperors to do a job, and they welched on the deal. So right now, Sinanju owns China until they pay them back. And that's why their stamp is on China. That's Sinanju's. It belongs to them. It belongs to them.
Because I remember was he North Korean or South
North Korean? So that makes it even trickier to do some stories sometimes.
Yes, because the only exposure to the Destroyer for me at this time is the movie. I enjoyed the movie. It was the first time I saw Kate Mulgrew. I enjoyed it because I didn't know until a few years ago that it was a book series. So I'm like, I need to get these book series.
Shun is fun to write too because he's racist against everybody, including North Koreans, probably especially.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. How is that characteristic going to translate? Because it's an iffy subject, iffy topic matter.
We're going we're going balls to the wall with it. There's one of the books that I did get to do was I brought in a spoof of the Scooby Gang, and Chun is just fascinated by this Great Dane. Hey, Sci-Fi Snob's here.
Snob, what's up?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Continue on, RJ.
Yeah, because I what some of the funniest moments in the movie was just Master Chun saying these horrible things to Reno, like and I was laughing, and I was wondering, I'm so glad to hear you're going to keep that
Oh,
dynamic,
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
I feel like they do care for each other.
Well, yeah, it's a
Chun is
father-son relationship. In fact, Remo calls him, little father, because he does respect him.
Okay.
They will bicker like an old married couple, but in the end, they're family. They're very committed to each other.
Quick question.
Yes.
I'll let it back to Outpost. And I don't remember because it's been such a long time. Is the soap opera joke, is that going to be in this where Chung loves the soap operas?
Yes.
Like in the movie?
If Chun is left alone in the hotel room and room service just barges in the middle of his soap opera, Remo has bodies to clean up.
Oh, no.
He first time that happened, he opened up the closet door and this guy just falls out in the hotel uniform. He's like, really? Yeah. Death is just a byproduct in this world. We're not going to take death seriously, because national security, it's important, and you don't mess with the atomic bomb while it's watching its favorite soap opera here.
Yeah. Outpost, you have anything else?
I just love this idea of the man who thinks he's the like pinnacle of humanity is addicted to soap operas. It's just one of the funniest ideas.
He is so addicted to soap operas that despite the fact that it gets the lowest ratings on the planet, the man who's playing the lead role can't quit because Pure is financing the production and buying all the sponsorships so that Chun has his soap opera.
Oh, no.
And it's just so funny. The only reason Days of Our Lives has been on for so long is because this little
guy watches
North Korean man wants to watch it. That's awesome.
That is fantastic. Fantastic.
And it's the highest art. It's like Americans can't produce anything, but this is fine art. This is beautiful. This is a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, as from an acting point of view, it's one of the toughest jobs an actor could have because the turnover rate every week you're having to do, or almost every day you're getting new scripts. So I just find it funny that all that for just one man.
All of it for him.
God, that is hilarious.
One of the books I did, Remo, Chun was hospitalized, which Chun would never admit to having happened. But Remo bought him a stack of, brought him a gift, and Chun's like, "Is it gold?" He's like, "No, it's kind of silvery." And Chun's like, "What are these little plastic silver discs?" And then he turns it over and he sees the name of the soap opera on them. He's like, turn it on. He got the DVD set of season 1 of As the Planet Revolves.
Oh no. Oh my God.
My last question, because I want to give Snob some time. Is there any storylines or story plot elements that you would love to do with Remo?
If there are, I'm going to, because we're going to do them all. We're going to do Mugger Blood, which is arguably one of the most controversial books in the entire series. We're doing Mugger Blood.
Oh, I can't believe you just said that. That's one of the only books I hadn't gotten to read. And from what people that I know who have read it, they said, they just said, "You have to read it. You got to read it. You got to read it. It's one of the best."
It's one of the, wow, that was a 70s moment books.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm so glad I've discovered this story because I'm an avid reader and all my authors that I read are currently caught up. I'm caught up with all their books. So I'm like, oh, I need something to read. And I prefer a physical copy over a Kindle any day. So I'm so thrilled I found this. Thank you for creating such a, I love going to the library and that musty paper smell. I love going to old bookstores and have it. So thank you for having a hand in creating such an amazing story that really hits on something that I think modern entertainment, just the fun, masculine killer who will right the wrongs that we don't really see anymore. It's just action for the sake of action almost.
The only challenge that has risen up now in recent years has been, the fact that Cure was established to deal with the things that the FBI and the CIA and standard law enforcement couldn't do, which means they were established before Homeland Security. Now we have Homeland Security. It's like, what can they not do?
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay, I didn't think of that.
That is a very good point. That is a very good point on there. So anything else you got outpost? Or you got nothing?
No, but just thank you again. Thank you. I'm looking. I cannot wait for this book.
Books wouldn't be coming out if folks like you weren't wanting to read them. So thank you guys for being there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Snob, you got a couple of. I know you came in a little late.
So I'm a bit late, so I'm not sure. Forgive me if hopefully I'm not asking questions that have already been.
I'll give a completely different answer. It's fine.
All right, that's okay. Good. All right, well, no problems then. So, my first experience with Remo Williams is, of course, the movie, and I loved the movie when I was, watching it growing up. It's a great, great story. The whole idea of, the hero without superpowers, but that, with training you could be that. It always kind of always grabbed me anyway. But there's about 150 novels published. Now, are you taking, for your graphic novel, are you taking those stories and then converting to a graphic novel, or are you doing something completely different?
No, we're converting what already exists. So far, if we get licensed to do something different, then we'll definitely run with it. But right now, what we're doing is we're adapting the books that exist.
Okay, so they've contracted you to adapt the books that exist, not to go off.
It's funny because it's like I knew Devin. I'd done 3 of the books for him. I'm trying to do 2 more. We'll see if that ever happens, but we're in the works. And I sat down. It's like, you know what? I sent him some books we had done. I sent him Frankenstein, not knowing that this was like what he'd written his thesis paper on when he got his master's in literature. We had done a Frankenstein graphic novel. We had done a Hyde graphic novel. I said, I want to show you some stuff, and tell me what you think of it when you get it. So I knew that he had got it. He'd read it. We were going to have a call the next day. I sat down. I started working out all the plans. I was like, here's what the contract would look like. Here's how big the book should be. Here's a processing schedule. Here's a revenue stream. Here's what we can project that we're going to make. I was prepared. And I got him on the phone. It's like, I like that Frankenstein book. It really held up true to the novel, and the art was fantastic. I was like, thanks. We'd like to do something like that with the Destroyer novels. And he's like, yeah, do it. Just throw all that work out. He was like, yeah, do it. I was like, do you want to know what the contract is? What's the contract? We're thinking 50-50. Yeah, I'll take even less if it gets the books out there. Like, I'm a terrible negotiator. But really, he and I had the same goal here, which is we want to get the Destroyer out there in front of a new audience. And new audiences are reading graphic novels more than they're reading regular novels right now. So
and they've got the regular novels anyway, right? So you can just get those, reprint them if you want.
But they're not picking them up, and guess they're not. I guess you're still new. You can still get all the books on Amazon. Not first printings, but current printings. They kept them in print. There's I forget who their distributor is, publisher, but they all have the same cover on them, really, pretty much now.
Yeah. Are you looking to? Are you starting at novel 1 and going to 150? So you're going in the same order and everything.
We're
roughly
ish. We're taking book 1 and the novella, and we're mashing that together. We're going to skip book 2 because nobody likes it. We're going to do book 3. We're going to skip book 4 because nobody likes it. And by the time we hit book 5, we should be at a position where we can just continue on hitting every other book. And that was Devin's plan too. He's like, they weren't really firing on all cylinders for the first several books. So there's no reason to go back and show people how clunky things were in the beginning. Just hit the good stuff.
Is it approximately like 1 graphic novel per book, or a mix mash of whatever?
It's going to be 1 per book. So George and I talked about splitting this one up into a couple of volumes. I'm like, no, just make 1 book a book.
Yeah, Snob. It's 300 pages just for the first one.
Oh, okay. 300 pages for the first graphic novel?
Yeah.
300 pages for the first A4 size graphic novel.
That's pretty hefty.
Yeah, it's a fat book.
But that one is the first novel, the novella, and the first novel.
Yeah, combined together to make 1 cohesive story. I told George, I'm like, we're really not hitting on this condensed storytelling style that comics is supposed to pioneer. we sort of extrapolated it out. Plus, like I said, there were a lot of scenes that were just glossed over. It's like, yeah, and then Remo spent the afternoon training on how to do this, and then he spent. Well, wait a second, how did that happen? So we have room to play with stuff.
Yeah. So you're purposefully then. Okay, I'm assuming probably the other ones will probably be a little less than 300. The first one might be.
I hope so.
Yeah. So you're not. It's not a strict. You're using the. You're using the medium of graphic novel to expand like that sentence
Right.
you said. That might be a page of a training montage and pictures, for example. I'm
A whole paragraph,
something like that.
A whole paragraph. If you take it down and break it into panels and make something happen, it could be a page and a half.
Right.
In graphic novel.
Wow.
So I think this would be this is very you're saying that it's a copy, it's similar to the novel, but if I had read the novel, this would still appeal to me because I would get to see some things expanded, certain aspects of that might be glossed over in just writing that I would see visually. So I think that's a big positive.
We're not gonna change much of the dialogue or the narrative when that gets applied to the pictures. We're gonna
right,
abridge it naturally because we can't just reprint the whole novel and say, hey, it's the illustrated novel.
Yeah.
But why would you ever want to change Chun's dialogue? Plus, he was
No, and if you change, there's some controversy with people going and changing old stuff to make that sometimes they don't make it better, and usually people are reading a novel or whatever because watching a movie based on a novel or whatever that might be because they like the original, and some of them
and there's going to be, I'm sure, some missteps or some things that someone who's more of a purist towards the novel is going to say, that is not how I saw that happening. I think you got this wrong. What's funny is that our first image of Remo that went up, we said, here's our Remo guy wearing the black chinos, the black tight T-shirt, the Italian loafers, no socks. People started noticing Remo's not wearing socks. Oh, wow, he's wearing loafers, huh? And it took the old timers to come in and say, yeah, did you read the books? That's exactly what it says. Right. And in fact, his Italian loafers are so expensive that it's a story point in many of the books because he wears them once and throws them out.
Right. Now, wow. I'm not familiar with these, but I understand that there's been a couple of comic books and I think by Marvel, including Marvel, out already. How does that fit in? Yeah, does that fit in at all, or is that just that's a sort of a separate thing? You're not gonna
totally a separate thing. I don't know who owns the rights to those stories. I know Will Murray wrote a good majority of those. He was one of the ghostwriters on the series, so he wrote they did the comic book like this, and then I mentioned they did an A4 size magazine, which is more like Rampaging Hulk size, Savage Sword of Conan size, and they were not adaptations of any of the stories. In fact, they had one which was like a bunch of feminists and a blue Hulk that they created. They ended up creating a blue Hulk, who was basically he was horny. That was he was the rampaging erection, basically, which was what they wanted to create.
Yeah.
So Remo had to take down this big blue brutish horny monster.
Oh, that's one for the.
That is one for the book.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
I've read it, and I don't know what to say to it.
Now. What about? I guess you're fairly familiar with the with some of the characters in the from the books.
A lot of them, yeah. I mean, certainly the recurring ones.
Yeah. Is there any of the particular villains that are a favorite to you that you're looking forward to? Illustrating or adapting for the comic book? Any of them in particular?
Well, I mean, he has very few recurring villains because, as I said, he's an assassin. If he has a recurring villain, it's not doing his job very well. But definitely, we want to see how Nook comes into the storyline here. Nook, for those who don't know, is Chun's nephew, who was trained to be the next master of Sinanju and then turned renegade because he's like, yeah, you're right. We can make a lot of money by killing people. Rather, I can make a lot of money by killing people. So y'all on your own. And then, of course, Jeremiah Purcell, the Dutchman, pyrotechnic, Dutchman, and then psychokinetic pyrotechnic, him, yeah. But the one I really want, the one I've always loved the most, is Mr. Gordon's. Mr. Gordon's is an android. He's a fabrication machine. He was designed to be fired off into space by NASA and just be able to create whatever he needed to survive. That is his primary function, survive. But he's not creative. At least that's what they say. They keep saying he's not creative. I'm like, he's pretty damn creative if he's surviving all this time. But he's fought Remo many, many times. And the problem is that as long as one piece of him survives, he can recreate himself and he can merge into things. So you see him touch a jet plane and just kind of assimilate himself into the plane, and then like an eyeball opens on the side of the plane because he's in it.
That's him. Yeah, that was the first, just doing a little research, looking up. That was the first villain that kind of, jumped in front of me. Like, Mr. Gordon's a shape-shifting android created by NASA. And I'm like, whoa, that's somewhat different than the movie, which was much more straight.
Yeah. Well, like I said, he was programmed to survive, and he was just a little box on the desk. And his creator, the lady who created him and created a couple of other different functioning robots, they were Mr. Gordon's. There was Captain Walker. She was a lush, and she was naming all the robots after her favorite imbibements.
But, Gordon's gin.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
But the program was being cut, and he overheard her basically say, "We're not going to survive this," and the programming kicked in. So he had to make money to survive. So he created himself a body because he was a fabrication machine, and now he's ambulatory in the world.
Yeah, right on.
It's in that book where he gets his catchphrase.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now,
Well,
RJ, how much time do we have with you left?
3 minutes, I guess.
Okay.
I said,
So
hello is all right. The reason why he says it is hilarious.
All right. So I guess I got to get behind this a little more, because it seems a little more like it's it's kind of action adventure, but there's some science fiction in here. So I got to get shape-shifting androids. That kind of goes into the science fiction genre. So I have to.
There's some time travel adventures in there. There is. Okay, so Remo has died on a number of occasions, and that's when things get really, really bad, because Remo is also the avatar of Shiva. So anytime that there's like a big battle going on and Remo you think he's killed, he's like been pushed back, his head's knocked on a rock. He gets up, his eyes go oily black, and from everywhere, the thunderous sound of, "I am created Shiva the Destroyer. Who is this dog meat who dares stand before me?" And fertilizer hits the ventilator. And of course, since he's Shiva, one of his big bads that he hasn't been able to kill is Kali, who shows up on occasion. When she shows up, it's going to be even worse.
That is interesting. That is so interesting.
Yeah. Last quick question. When can we expect to see this? If you haven't mentioned it before, when do we expect?
As soon as we can.
Be able to get this in our
after the sharing. Do you want me to share the screen again? Show some pages.
Oh, I missed it.
Let's show it again. Especially for anyone who came in late and snobbed it. And what price point do we have this at?
We don't know. That's why I was asking the page count, and we were like $100 for an A4. I don't think that's going to fly. Oh, we can't do that.
Yeah. Here we go. These are
nice.
beautiful.
This
is
beautiful.
Yeah. What?
George uses Adobe Illustrator.
I mean, I'm still, my mind is blown every time I see these.
Yes, this is a very realistic style that you guys.
Oh yeah, very realistic. The only thing I have that I'm like, I'm not crazy about is that Remo's so muscular. Remo's supposed to be sort of an everyman in appearance.
Yeah.
But
do you expect to do the children down the line?
No. No, I love. Well, I mean, as they appear in the story, but I know there's a legacy series, and I've mentioned which. I don't tie this to a place in history. So whenever I write Destroyer, I'm like, I don't care that there's 70 years of history in the past. He's been doing it for 10 years, and it's a moving window. And legacy is his children, and that is part of the canon. And it's 5 years out from where we are right now, and it always is 5 years out from where we are right now.
Okay. That makes sense.
Now, for those of
It's
you
like
who are
you're a
watching,
comics reader and you're reading forever and ever, and suddenly you hit the year 3000. You're like, why am I still reading Justice League when it should be current with Legion of Superheroes? No, push that out 1,000 years old.
It's like I mentioned, one of the few comics that actually, from its premiere date, that stays in real time is Judge Dredd. And Dredd, I looked up, is like in his early 80s and still on the beat. It's like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It gets to a point where you just can't you can't suspend your disbelief anymore. So
that is,
I ignore time.
I love, if I would have that as a computer background, this shot right here, it's just,
it's just awesome. Just
Yeah,
awesome.
Fred Ward did have that everyman sort of look, more
yeah.
grizzled,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yeah. For those of you watching, I just put the website. It's in the chat. And if you're watching this after the live stream, it is in the description below. Also, the X Twitter account as well, so you get updates. Log in, especially stuff like monsters next door. I got bring that
I
up.
love that concept.
That concept is fantastic. But yeah, exactly. That I'm gonna I have to pick up.
One of the things we did with this book and with our other anthologies, we didn't tell the artists we were doing this the first time we did it, the authors. We had our group chat to launch it. We started showing off the book, and every story has its own comic book cover.
Oh, that's cool.
We had one young lady in tears because no one had ever illustrated one of her books before. But the back cover has all the comic book ads, only they're geared towards monsters. And then the story began.
And who's the singer, by the way?
Yeah,
singer
I was gonna ask that too.
Yeah.
Oh, that singer is electronically generated. We wrote that song, but then it's like George wasn't a female, I wasn't a female. It had to be a sultry female jazz singer. So we just let that one play out. Gave it the music and said, "Okay, sing for us now." So
and of course, speaking of singing, you have an album out.
Now I do have an album out, and that's on our bookstore. It's the very top thing. I just started, telling stories, but in a more condensed form. And hang on, change hats.
He switched. Switching
I'm a
characters.
man of many hats. It was I started telling these stories in. Looks better this way. And they just lent themselves more to music. So they were just episodes out of my life that affected me in certain ways. When I lost my first son, that became a story. When I got divorced, that became a story. Lost my first job, that became a story. So there's a lot of loss in here. I said, my wife was like, "Do you only write depressing songs?" I'm like, "Oh no, I can do some more happy stuff." I had some wordplay, and I thought country music really lends itself to wordplay real well. So songs like "Charity" and "My Heart Belongs to Jesus" were more upbeat songs in there. Although I did tell her, I said, "My heart belongs to Jesus" started out as a joke line, and by the time I was done with it, I'm like, this came out as sort of a sad, lonely song.
And it's available both on physical media and CDs, and
it's available on physical media, CD, and some of the songs are released as singles on Spotify, but not all of them. And the whole album will be released on Spotify in late August. But if you want a CD, they are $15 plus $5 shipping, and if you want it autographed, it's $15 plus $5 shipping. So hey,
once again, RJ, thank you for coming on. I mean, really, we learned so much.
It's been an utter pleasure.
This project has been fantastic. I mean,
it's been fun. If you want me to come back sometime, let me know.
Oh, anything you want to push, let me know. I'll give you the pulpit. As they say, onto the panel. You let us know in advance. We'll put you on.
We'll be back for the second book.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, please. Go ahead, Outpost.
I would say it's been such a pleasure talking to you. It's just, it's amazing to see an author just as passionate about their product as the fans are. Because you seem like you're not just the author and editor, you're also a fan. And I love.
Yeah, that's when you get the best stories of anybody.
Yes.
I've said that of the comic book industry for years. It's like we've gotten to the place where fans aren't writing the stories anymore.
Well, it's like But it's same in the movie industry. Executives used to be movie makers themselves, and now they're just businessmen standing behind a camera.
Look at
It's
Amazon
all
just
about
this week,
IP and revenue.
canceling
Yep.
Stargate because they didn't
That
want
broke
it.
my heart.
They didn't want to make it fan based.
Yeah.
I was like, what? How could you do that? It's the fans that driven this series and movies.
Mm.
You know, I'm hoping Dean Devlin gets his stuff back. You know, that's my
Yeah.
hope down the line. But once again, RJ, I know you got to go. Thank you again. We'll talk in the near future on there with all your other stuff. Once again, the Destroyer series, The Day Remo Died, available soon. Again, the website is right listed on the chat and also in the description below. Thank you, RJ. Thank you for coming aboard.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
You have a good day.
Have a good
You
day.
too. See you later.
That was amazing.
That was so much fun. Oh
That
my god,
was amazing.
I'm grinning ear to ear right now. It was a blast.
Oh, that was so much fun on there.
The
It was-
artwork.
The
Oh
art.
my
Oh my god.
God.
The artwork. Holy crap.
I was surprised. I thought it would be more, cartoony, more comic booky, but as opposed to the very realistic. But it looks great. I mean, it's
I mean, it looks fantastic.
blew
a lot of
my
effort into it and stuff.
Before you came in, he showed it, and it blew my mind. I thought for like a split second, am I looking at movie stills?
Yeah, it was my impression as well.
I mean, just like the detail, like in the office with Master Chun and and Smitty, just the detail on the desk down to the smallest detail. Like the book looked like it had been worn a little bit. You could tell like it had been used, like just due to the discoloring on the cover, the detail on the console, and Master Chun's in all the panels showing him those ornate, beautifully drawn kimonos. Just it blew my mind.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
all
think
the,
you got a sense from it. But even then, it'll probably look much better
Yeah,
when you have it in your
when
hand,
you actually
know?
have it
Yes.
as opposed to on the screen here.
I mean, that's going to be fantastic. It's on my book list. That is definitely.
yes.
on the top of
we didn't
my
get
book
an
list.
exact. We don't have an exact.
We don't have an
release
exact date, but they said 300 page, 300
When did he-
page for an eight.
He said as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Just,
We
he
did
just
that.
didn't they don't have a date.
No,
sadly.
not even a 6 months, 8 months, 3 months. Not even.
No, could be sooner, could be later.
Okay,
still,
keep an eye,
I
I
mean,
guess.
Keep an
Yeah,
eye.
you'd be
Like I said, the
surprised.
website is listed. You know, I also listed in the description their Twitter feed. So I would say, those of you watching, interested in it, hit that subscribe on there to them on there. They even have a YouTube channel too, and they do live streams also. So
That's
also
cool.
do check out their YouTube channel as well onto there. Before we move on, and of course, because with that, we're not doing it in a silent moment this week because we had so much to unfold on this, and this was so great. And the next part of it, we got so much to talk about next. One thing is, don't forget to subscribe because we're bringing more guests into the fold. There's a lot we're working on. There's people that we're setting out feelers, on there. Right now I have Rhonda Shear that I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to talk with Robin Bird, former porn star from Debbie Does Dallas. She has an HBO documentary coming out. I know her from back in the day. They're doing a whole thing on her life story right now, coming out in June. I'm hoping to grab her on the show. She hasn't returned my call yet. And hopefully we're going to have some more Babylon 5 guests. That's the other thing we're trying to work on. So subscribing is very important. Liking and sharing, obviously, on there. Also, don't forget, join the movement. Stay curious, stay informed, stay mad. We got the t-shirt, 10% off all gear. Code stay mad for the rest of this month. We'll have a new code for next month on there for July, but it's going to stay 10% off as on there for throughout the summer on there. Also, there's a lot more coming. We're starting Madman with the Show Summer Edition this week. There's a lot of great stories. But let's move on. The box office, which is amazing right now. Let me just bring this up. And this weekend, I know Snob went to go see the Amazing Digital Circus.
I did.
Yes. What did you think of it, by the way?
Um, Cam and I were both a little bit disappointed, to be honest. It looked good in the theater and everything. It's just the story didn't pay off for us. Now, that said, the fans love it. I mean, it's got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. They sold a ton of tickets, I think 20 million.
Just in the
so
US.
it's doing really well. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it wasn't really made for us. We kind of got on it at the last, not quite the last minute, but sort of near the end. And, it's my daughters both saw it and they both loved it.
Supposedly
they're the target audience, I think.
the worldwide numbers is between US and worldwide is hitting north of like 30 million at this point. The numbers haven't come out officially, but it's being reported. It's like between 30 to 35 million worldwide.
Yeah, I think it was 20 domestic, something like that.
Yeah, 20 domestic. Yeah, it's officially 20 domestic. I have the numbers up already.
Even with it hitting 20 domestic for what's essentially an independent movie.
Yeah, it's an independent YouTube cartoon.
And the highest fandom.
Free.
Fandom
they're giving it out for free and surviving on merch that they would sell. And then they put it in theaters and it beats Star Wars.
Yeah. It did. It's Mandalorian Grogu, 9.9 million for the weekend.
I think Mandalorian would be 6 on this chart that you got up there.
Right.
That's,
that's incredible.
Incredible. Like, you got to be happy if you're those people.
The fan base is just so passionate. There's so many cosplayers that I follow that do that within the last few weeks they're cosplaying these characters, and it just, when a show gets that kind of love, it's something unique. It shows.
The musicians are playing the music. I mean, I've seen some of those street musicians that play piano at the malls and stuff like that, and I see that they're playing the songs from the movie and the series.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I thought that episodes 1 to 8 were all excellent. I mean, some of them are better than others. Usually the later ones kind of hit harder because you know more what's going on. I mean, our Cam and I, our biggest complaint is that I think they missed the mark on the 9th episode because they were leading up to these things, and they could have written the story in a different way in order to hit harder on the themes that they were going on, and they didn't do that for whatever reason. But the expectation of a 50-something-year-old man and a 20-something-year-old anime fan are somewhat different, right? I guess I'm used to a little bit harder hitting and darker science fiction, they could have explored those in a different way, but they still did. But
question for you, Stom.
Would you try not to spoil anything? But Go ahead.
I just want to ask about the theme of the show. Would you say it's about dealing with different types of trauma and how different people deal with it?
Well, each of the characters has their own, different trauma, if you want to call it that. I mean, we all do anyway.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that is a theme of what's going on, but there's also the theme of the Kane, who's the AI, who's running the circus. So, there's that theme of that AI theme is in there. But it could have gone a lot, in the end, it could have gone a lot darker. It could have, examined that in more detail. And, because, when you first start out, the character of Kane is sending them on these adventures, and he says it's his job and he needs to keep them occupied and stuff, doing things. And, none of them know why they're there, what's going on. And when there's some humor in there and everything. But you look at some of these quote adventures that they go on. Some of them are a little disturbing. Like there's episode 3 is a haunted house one.
Yeah, I just binged it. I watched the haunted house. That was wild.
It's scary, So you kind of come out to it, and you're like, well, there is an episode where the characters just say, "Hey, can't we just relax? Like, why do we have to go on these adventures? Can't we just sit on the beach? And why do we have to do all this crazy stuff. And there are points in the story where you see them coming out, and they're coming out of the end of an adventure, and they're covered in goo, and they all look tired and really worn out and stuff. And you're like, yeah, it doesn't quite, what the heck is he's kind of torturing them almost, in a sense.
Yeah.
What's going on? But there's that theme of a little bit of identity, but also, dealing with who you are, dealing with other people, other characters in the circus, other people. It's very much a human story, I think, about how people are, how we deal with the people around us, that sort of thing. That's kind of the primary thing with this. The AI is sort of, important to that, but kind of secondary. I think you hit it on the head there.
Would you say Kane's kind of out of control AI?
Yeah, I mean,
I've only seen clips and little bits and pieces, and what little bit I've listened from you and Cam. But I'm gonna try over the weekend to watch it.
Yeah, I would say give it a try. I mean, it's not for everybody, and if you don't, you don't like it, then don't watch it. But it really starts hitting on after episode. Most people find episodes 1 and 2 to be like they're not their least favorite. Now, that's, to me, that doesn't say that they're not good. I think it's just that the other later episodes hit harder because you're knowing what you hear more about what's going on and stuff. And the first 2 episodes kind of have to set things up. But that's not to say that they're bad.
And that's typical with most shows. Like the first episode or first season is they're trying to get their Riker's beard, as it's called. When Star Trek Next Generation, it didn't hit off till like 2 or 3 when Riker got his beard. That old saying.
And I don't want to say too much about the ad because there's a little bit more on, and it would kind of spoil a few things.
Yeah, that's okay.
But
you're good.
Yeah,
because it's for fandom events. This was their most highest level ever on ticket sales.
Yeah, and I think, I'd be interested to discuss what this says about the future of the movie industry, where you've got the Digital Circus at number 5, and then Backrooms and Obsession still doing well, and those are they are, and while they're not comics or web web.
Backrooms was a game, was a video game, right?
Yeah, but they are all. Are they not by? These
I don't know.
Have been getting into it in making their own movies. It's not quite the same, but it's still, you've got people who are just nobodies, beating out some Hollywood,
And there's more on the way. That's the thing. There's a lot more on the way. I mean, I forgot who it was. They're readapting Blair Witch, and they got a YouTuber to do it. And he's going to be helming the Blair Witch Project, a remake. Because
wasn't the original Blair Witch just a couple of film school people and with like a handheld camera running around the woods, and it became like late 90s, early 2000s pinnacle of horror movie, pinnacle of the horror genre? Yeah. I never watched it. I'm not a fan.
You have to remember, they're the ones that actually started the the POV type, point of view.
Yeah,
and it took off. Yeah, I remember that.
It did. It was really big, and I've actually never seen it myself, of course, but I've seen all kinds of stuff.
But it's the kind of movie
I'm not a big horror guy, but
yeah, I'm the same. That's kind of the movie. A movie gets so ingrained into the social consciousness as the Blair Witch. Yeah. People like is it fake? I remember people like, is it fiction? Is it real? Is the Blair Witch a real thing? It got that ingrained into our thinking at the time.
And it gets parodied, and I think The Simpsons did a bit of they referenced it, like it becomes part of the.
It's one of
the original scary movie.
Simpsons to porn, porn has even done freaking
the Blair Witch.
Porn does everything, but that's kind
of. Talking about number one movie, scary movie. In the original, they parodied a couple of scenes when Sherry O'Terry's character, the reporter, gets chased through the forest. It was a Blair Witch parody. Yeah. She has her camera in her face, like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah. I don't want to say, I don't think there's always been independent movies, and Blair Witch is an example of that. And there's always been these independent movies that can sort of make the jump, and they're very few and far between usually. But it's just, they usually just come out and there's this one sort of shot, and they might do very, very well. But there's not, this number of them all at once coming out. it's like the theaters are, we can't trust Hollywood to give us good enough or enough movies. So we're going to look around and we're finding these good things like Backrooms Obsession and Digital Circus. I mean, this is June. The Digital Circus should not be on, like, this should be tentpole blockbuster Star Wars action movie type. They should be sucking all the life out of the out of the box office for June, July, Supergirl, Superman, all these.
And there's still 5 more horror films to be released this month.
Yeah, it's it's incredible, right? And even of the of your 5 here, I understand that I'm not sure about Scary Movie, but Master of the Universe, I think, underperformed, right? 29,
very underperformed.
35.
Their numbers were 29 domestic, 25 international. So it's about 54.
I watched the top 2. I watched Scary Movie and Masters recently.
Right.
Masters was a huge letdown. It was just when they said what our fears with the he/him plaque were well founded. Sadly.
that's what I haven't seen them, but that's what I'm hearing from. Though there's some people who said it was good. A few people that say it was.
That's fine.
Good,
you know what?
When I say critical,
I was not. There
my
were some
criticism
choices.
with it, from what I've seen, is the way the characters look. Like Evil Lynn, the 1980s,
gorgeous.
The 1980s version of Evil Lynn looked like Evil Lynn. This was like they threw a costume on her, threw a little hat on and a costume, and that was it.
The costumes were
Evil Lynn. I just got that.
Yeah.
They the issue I had the most with this, they'd have a serious heartfelt moment and then ruin it by sticking in a joke or trying to make it a funny moment.
The Josh Wheaton.
There's a scene where Tila and Man-at-Arms, they hug it out. They reconcile, and she's like, "I love you, Dad," and he's like, "I love you too. Yeah, I know," and that kind of thing. Adam comes in and just joins the hug. He's like, "Oh, I love this. This is such a sweet moment." And Tila's like, "Adam, we're having a moment. Get away. Go away." It's that kind of stuff that happened. And so many characters. There's the roster choice. They had Mossman, which is one of my favorite masters. They had Fisto. They had Mechanic. They had the one other female, I can't remember her name. She was nothing more than a background character in the comics in the 90s, but they had to meet a quota. They couldn't have Tila being the only female. So they added her. She was done real well. She kicked ass, but I'm thinking, okay. They had Mechanic, which was cool because one of the weirdest powers, and he's just whipping it around his head around, taking out multitudes of bad guys. Really well. Mechanic was real done. But the one I wanted the most that they did not mention at all, that pissed me off, was Stratos. He's one of my favorite masters. He's that winged one that sounds like Sean Connery in a couple of versions. Supposedly they set him up for the next movie, which I doubt there will be a next movie.
I don't think there's going to be.
And you know how?
I mean,
if
there's going to be a big underperform.
You know how long Battle Cat was on screen? 10 seconds. In the finals,
and then I hear they used the original theme at the end. They
redid it, which was really it was really, the music was good. They redid it. You could hear it, remixed it. It was really well done, I think. But they're literally like after at the end of the movie, they're standing around, arms on like the superhero pose with your fists on your shoulder, on your thighs. And like, ha 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 ha, leaning back, laughing. I'm like, that. And all of a sudden, like, characters appear out of the blue at the end. It's like, how did you get here?
And I think he's not even. He doesn't look
no,
that
he's not.
muscular.
It's basically
to play He-Man. I mean, freaking Dolph Lundgren.
He had a
was much more muscular.
He had a good scene with Dolph Lundgren's cameo was good, and it was a callback to the '87 movie because he's talking. Adam's just struggling to work out. He's a wimp. It's like you're that big and you're a wimp physically. Like he can't run, but you're that good a shape. This is what I never liked about the He-Man things. Like they were the Eternians were too stupid to recognize him because he just changed. All you had to do, it's like the Superman Clark Kent thing. All he had to do was take off his glasses and you didn't recognize him. The Adam, all you had to do was change his shirt. But he has this, and he ends the conversation with Adam. He puts his hand out like he did, like they would like they did in the '87. He says, "Adam, good journeys." And I'm like, oh yay, because I love the '87 movie. But I find it funny that Dolph Lundgren was going on and on. Oh, I love doing it. No, you didn't. You said for decades you hated that movie. But all of a sudden, because you're getting paid now, you're like, oh, I love this. I love doing this movie. It was so fun. No, it wasn't. You said it yourself.
And considering it's Amazon.
Yeah, I loved it.
There again, Amazon.
Sorry. I love the '87 movie. I loved some of the callback. Morena Bracken as the sorceress wasn't on very long, but the outfit was beautifully done. It was kind of a callback to the '87 movie in her outfit, but it also had colors of Zora, the blues and golds in it. Beautifully done.
Even Lynn was great.
I like Alison Brie. I think she's hot. She's funny. Community. She was funny as hell in Community. And there's a scene where she and Tila are about to fight, and she's like, "Hey, how about you and me sneak out of here and leave the boys to their issues?" Because you know how evil Lynn was. She was only there. That snake version of the evil warrior that was in the '87 movie that one of the characters Skeletor sends to Earth to get the cosmic key. They really expanded on him. I can't remember his name. He was created for the '87 movie. They expanded on him.
I know which one you're talking about. Oh, really? They used it in this film? Holy shit.
Oh yeah, and he was really well done. He looked great. Some of the things the looks,
but he's not from the He-Man universe. It was
after
created for '87,
and I think they did him in the comics as well. Some, but it was a good callback to the movie. Trap Jaw was really well done, but the thing was like all these funny names were made up by Adam as a kid. Like he's like, you're Fisto, and he's like, my name's Malcolm. What are you talking about? That's one thing I did not like. Like there's an episode. It's like at the end, Tila, Man at Arms, and Adam are like standing there talking, and Tila looks and says, "So you named him Ram Man? You named him Fisto, Mechaneck. What did you call me?" And he gets all warrior goddess. Are you kidding? She's like, "Are you kidding me?" Because she was the warrior. That was her name. That was her code name, Warrior Goddess. In some of the Masters of the Universe continuity, but it some of the choices, and what they even killed off one of the Masters. I'm not going to say who, in the most demoralizing, stupid way, considering how powerful this character was supposed to be. And Skeletor just, with a snap of his fingers, almost just destroys them.
Now with Scary Movie,
let me just mention before we go on, Al.
Yeah.
The Midnight's Edge had an interesting take on the Master of the Universe, looking at the entire movie and what they did with it, and that kind of stuff. So you might want to check that out. I think.
Yeah, Tom
I saw that, and I agree with him to an certain extent.
Holy crap!
I was on I was in that chat of a show Saturday, and one of the guys on panel started bad mouthing him, and us in the chat turned on this guy. It's like, how dare you belittle someone for their passion? Like, what do I say what is my motto for my channel? Find your passion and nerd out about it. Don't let anyone shame you. Why was this guy shaming Tom for being passionate about something? We all need something to be passionate about to make life worth living. That is a t-shirt right there. But we went in chat went at this guy.
But moving over to Scary Movie, and I know you saw that too, Outpost. I'm hearing mixed reviews on that
It
as well.
yeah. I love that
I heard the jokes were a little dry.
some of them, and some of them were like, "Holy shit, the Wayans brothers don't care." They're some of them were like, um, it was a lot of like things coming from left field all at once that you're like, what? That doesn't make sense. Um, it was, I think the reason why it's done so well is people my age and older. Because, like I said, I was in sixth grade. I was 13 when it came out. It was that irreverent teenage garbage humor. You know what I mean? Trash. That's just funny, irreverent. I don't care kind of attitude.
Yeah.
And I think
It
we've
doesn't.
been
It doesn't capture
starving.
that.
No, we've been starving for it, so that's why it's number one.
But it did. Are you saying it didn't capture that, or only
In
partially did?
in some regards, but it was
But
just a
not.
lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot of stuff coming at you in left field. Like you'd be watching a scene and you'd oh, I recognize what they're parroting, and then boom, before you could like acknowledge what they were like, before it could click really, and you could that's funny. It was onto something else and making another joke. It was just everything, just boom, 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 boom. That
And of course the white chicks
yes.
joke in the
Oh
middle
my!
of
I
it.
had to pause. I had to stop what I was doing and just laugh. I laughed my ass off at that. Oh my god, it was so funny. The callback, yeah.
The callback to white chicks because they are looking to make the sequel.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool.
They are looking. They said, well, if they do very well with Scary Movie 6, that they plan to funnel what they make toward making the next one. Which right now worldwide they're looking at 104 million. We haven't gotten Monday's results yet.
Mhm.
That should be out anytime soon.
And there,
Internationally, they did 50 million, and domestically, they did 54, which put them 54 to 55, which put them in number
yeah,
one.
and there was a lot of moments that were meta. Like there was a lot of times where they're like, "I know I'm in a movie. I know this. We got the franchise back. Yeah, that kind of thing." And the end was kind of
This is the same thing that might happen to Stargate because I know Dean Devlin is looking into it. Probably this will probably end up back in his hands by 29.
that's a long time.
Well, it depends, because you're going through the courts.
Yeah.
On there.
Like Dean Devlin, he's done some amazing TV shows. Leverage, The Librarians, which was one of my favorite. I love history, so I love shows like in that vein that would take historical things. Like one of my favorite science fiction shows was Warehouse 13.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to meet Eddie McCormick.
Fantastic
I want to meet
series,
Eddie
fantastic
McCormick
series.
so bad. He's one of my favorite actors. And Kate Mulgrew, we were talking Remo Williams. Her role in Remo Williams, she was Pete's mom in Warehouse 13.
Yeah, my first take on Kate was further back than that when originally it was called Mrs. Columbo, which she was supposed to be the wife of Columbo, and she had her own show, and then they changed it around. They were like, no, we can't have her at Mrs. I forgot what they call it secondary, but she was like a novelist reporter doing similar to what Columbo did, investigate certain things on there, and she had her own show.
Kind of sounds like Columbo versus mixed with Murder, She Wrote, when you said she was a novelist reporter.
Yeah, it's kind of that before Murder, She Wrote. Came out about within the same period, and I think it was the 70s on that, to that point. But getting to the number 3 and 4, these are the big numbers that you want to hear about this. I saw Backrooms. Backrooms is really good. A lot of people are like, they're like, really, is this is because I don't want to give anything away because there are some surprises and some misunderstandings on the characters in this and what the Backrooms represents. And he did it so well. I mean, the director did it so well. I mean, right now, currently, domestic, $135 million, 77 international, 212, and we're talking on a $10 million budget. And it's still clock. I mean, it's still in the top 5.
According to Wiki, it's made 216.3 million. Holy cow! That's like
This is the largest for A24.
200
This is their
a
largest.
200% return. Holy shit!
Yep.
And that's another.
Yep. There will be a sequel. There will be.
And this is another example of a movie addressing trauma. Is it not? Like a person dealing with their trauma. Am I wrong in that?
Yep. Yeah, it's dealing with trauma also. Hello, what is that name? Gap After Dark 2034. Hello, everyone. I just saw the Auntie Jill post, and I'm new here. Well, welcome. You missed the
We've
interview.
probably been in chat on.
Rewind it back. You can rewind it back to the beginning so you can see RJ's interview on that. Welcome.
We've probably been in chat together in Jill's show. Cool. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Yeah, glad you're here. Okay, the other, like I said, Backrooms, you're going to get sequels.
Yes.
Definitely you're going to get sequels.
From what I read, it's set up for sequels, right? And just...
It wasn't at first, but he said that, yeah, there will be sequels for this.
From what I understand, just the concept of the Backroom itself, it's
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it.
It's the concept itself is set up for sequels, multiple sequels, probably.
Mm-hmm. And there is a little time travel in it, just to give you fair for snobs perspective. There is time travel in this.
All right, I'm in
a way.
It's a good time.
It is
travel.
creepy,
time
but
it's very creepy.
It's sort of time. It's sort of, well, actually, it's not time travel. It's more linear, non-linear existence.
Kind of Schrodinger's cat kind of thing. Okay, cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's something like that. It is a great movie on there, but it's creepy.
I'm not a fan of creepy movies.
Yeah, it is. Well, no, this is kind of creepy. It's just like, you can watch it and then you're like, and it makes you think. It makes you think to that point. And like I said, like you said, this is, about people's emotions and, their tragedies and things.
It's a horror movie in the sense that your own imagination makes it scary, the scariest thing. Because it's like the worst thing about Jaws was not seeing the shark, and it's just that that visceral.
Same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Most people think that Leatherface in the original Tobe Hooper movie, he was going around killing people with the chainsaw, and it was all bloody as hell. No, it wasn't. It just gave you the impression that it was.
Yeah, a human mind is your own worst enemy. You take the smallest thing and you can create a world-ending scenario from it. And it's just the way we work. It's just the way the human mind is wired. And I think movies like Background tap into that primal fear of the unknown. And I mean, it's giving you kernels. Movies like that just give you kernels of information. And then it's like it's a build up and then a crescendo. Like when Brody saw the shark, you saw the fear, and it's so good. Just that concept of building up to the crescendo that a lot of movies don't do very well anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And the other horror film, which only cost, I think it was $1 million, was Obsession.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, not quite $750, I think.
Well, they caught with the advertisement now. They've jacked it up to about $1 million now.
Yeah.
Through Focus Features, 151 million domestic, 57 international, 209 million. This is the two biggest horror films for this year, top line. Theaters are loving this. This is what the theaters wanted. This is movies that people are paying to go see, and it's not freaking $1 billion, header, but it's still making the money that everybody's pockets will be pretty good on that.
I posted a link in private chat that you might find interesting, Madman.
Yeah, I got those numbers.
That's that where you got them?
Yeah,
that's huge. Oh my god, for just around $1 million. That these movies.
Yeah,
where can I get in on
$1 million to make the $750,000 original.
Yeah,
then you throw in the advertisement and all that. You still, it's still a lot of money that was made.
Money.
And we're talking Backrooms and Obsession. We're talking about between the two, on the average, about 3,000 theaters.
And this is
Obsession is like 2,900, the 3,500 for Backrooms.
This is their third. Each of them, third or fourth week for both of them in the top 5.
Backrooms is second week. Obsession is 4.
So, because Obsession is such another simple concept. What guy has not wanted the beautiful girl to like them? But it's that kind of wish backfiring concept.
Yeah, we see this in Tales from the Crypt, which is now on Shudder. You've seen it on Tales from the Dark Side, Monster. For all those anthology series that have been on TV has done something similar to this.
The legend of the genie in Arabic folklore is actually a cautionary tale.
Yeah,
because getting what you want instantly isn't supposed to work out, because the genie you'll say, I want $1 million. Genie will boop, snap his fingers. Okay, you got $1 million. Where'd that $1 million come from? You have a stack of $1 million worth of stolen money right there. You can't spend. Or I want an obsession. I want so and so to be obsessed with me. He worded it wrong. You have to be like a super genius lawyer to get what you want out of a genie, I've always thought. Because remember, in Disney's Aladdin, he's he gets him to get him out of the Cave of Wonders by tricking the genie and say, I bet you can't do this. I bet you can't do this. You say you're so powerful. I bet you can't do this. And then when they go to the Oasis, he's like, okay, you got 2 wishes left. No, I don't. I didn't wish for this. I didn't wish for you to get us out.
Mm-hmm. Gap After Dark says, yeah, both of those horror movies actually gain every week because order of mouth. That's incredible.
Yeah, word of mouth.
Word of mouth. I think that's meant to say.
Yeah,
word of mouth.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need Star Wars level advertisements anymore.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
I think the difference is that you don't need them if your movie is good.
Yeah.
Right. The cream will rise to the top. The good stuff will be recognized and be seen, and it will make money. And the stuff that isn't is, people know, and it's going to float sink to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, you said, snob number 6 is Mandalorian and Grogu, and to have all these movies beat out a Star Wars movie is insane.
Yeah,
yeah, and they're only at 155 million US.
Yeah,
I mean, worldwide. I didn't even pull up the worldwide.
And in this wasn't this Digital Circus's opening weekend?
Yes.
It was open on Thursday.
Yeah, opening weekend. So I'm wondering if it's going to go up 1 or 2 spots next week.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna fade off a bit. Though they weren't planning on doing any more.
They did extend. They did extend in the theatrical.
They have extended it.
They have extended
that's
it
interesting.
till the 18th.
Yeah,
and because the thing is with this movie, it's not a movie you don't just go in and just watch it, right?
You have to prepare for it.
People who are watching it have watched the other 7 episodes beforehand, and they're huge fans. And I don't think this has legs simply because of the way it's got a huge fan base. It was bound to make money, but all of those people are going to be focused on the first weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then you only have to wait. You only have to wait 10 days now to see it for free on YouTube. So,
that makes sense.
If you're sitting on the fence, you'd be like, I can wait 10 days, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, Mandalorian Grogu only did. Listen, domestic was 155, international is 137, worldwide 293. They need at least 6 to break even. Between 500 and 600 million.
I have a prediction. I think Masters is going to fall down at least 2 or 3, maybe even out of the top 5 by next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, Digital Circus made money when the first person bought a ticket. I think it's one of those things. There's very little. I mean, it's all word of mouth, right? People just who heard about it. So,
hey, PB, how you doing today?
PB, what's up?
PB missed the best part of the show. PB, you missed the interview.
Go back and watch it. Give us the
Go
numbers.
back and watch the interview, PB.
It was amazing. I have not stopped smiling. I literally have not stopped smiling since he left.
What? You
Since
haven't stopped smiling since he left.
Because it was just such a fun interview. I had such a great time
okay.
and just listening to him and just seeing the passion
I
behind
thought
it.
you were saying you're happy he left.
I haven't. Shut up, snob.
That's what it sounded like. You haven't stopped smiling since he left. That's what you said, right?
Shut up. Know what I meant, man. But what other movies are coming out, Madman?
That's what I'm looking up right now.
Trying to change the topic.
Supergirl. That's probably gonna.
Oh, I have an argument on that
bomb.
already.
I got in an argument on Twitter with a couple of people over Supergirl.
I think it's gonna bomb.
It's going to. So one thing I've always thought: Superman is not an idiot. He's a genius. He's a highly evolved alien. Why? How? This is what I don't like about David Cornsweet's Superman. It's one of the issues. He should know Kryptonian. Because the thing is, it took like 3 or 4 years between Krypton's destruction and him arriving on Earth. It took 3 years of him traveling through space. And in that time, Jor-El was smart enough to prepare him for Earth, to teach him everything about his planet, about what's going to be on Earth. But we're not seeing that in Superman. He's a complete idiot. He doesn't understand the message. This is one of the issues I had in the first one. And he's like, when Supergirl lands, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know Kryptonian. And she's like, why is he in Kryptonian? She says, why is he wearing his underwear on the outside? It's just I'm not.
I mean, it's the modern Hollywood obsession with deconstructing and
Yes,
looking, making fun of, and just hey, look at this. We all agree that this is foolish type thing.
See, I don't go to the movies. I don't pay to go to the movies unless it's something I'm passionate about. So in the last probably 10 years, I've only gone to the movie theater and paid to see something twice. It was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, which I enjoyed, and Superman last summer. And I left just dejected. It's like, oh, jolly geez. Like when he tells, like in the post-credit scene, he tells Mr. Terrific they're standing at the crack in Metropolis from the and he's like, can't you get this straight? He's like, Mr. Terrific's like, what do you expect me to do? And he's like, oh, geez, why am I such a jerk? Like, they're taking the Boy Scout routine to an extreme of absurdity.
Gap After Dark says, I have no hopes for Supergirl, nor do I have any interest.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I don't know if anybody noticed. Do you see Supergirl's wearing earrings?
Yeah, a lot of people have thought about it. Like in Smallville, Tom Welling at one point had a mole.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
How is she wearing earrings?
How does Superman have a mole? Yeah, I understand.
Well,
it's the same thing.
The actor, he had a mole in there, but
they should have done something because moles are created by a virus in your system.
Right.
How did he get affected by that? It was. It's these small little things. Nope.
Kryptonite ear piercing.
Well, no. Here's the thing, and the director says, "Well, she went to another planet where there was a red sun, and she had it pierced. Then and she came back." I said,
Coping.
"No, you don't know the lore of Superman and Kryptonians. Once they hit the yellow sun, it would have those little holes. The earrings would have popped out."
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, she's on a red planet for part of this movie, I think, right?
Yeah,
that's how she gets drunk. But the moment Kryptonians are living solar batteries. Every cell, every atom in their body absorbs and metabolizes solar energy to give them the powers they get. So when they go to the red sun, yes, the moment they hit a red sun, they weaken. But the moment they step into the yellow sun, they should be, boom, charged again. So Yeah, the earrings would bother me as well. It's the right now. It's a nitpick. I'm gonna hold
Yeah, I think there's
my
more problems with the story.
until we
Oh, yeah.
see the
The
story.
kind of story that
So,
they're going to tell, which is going to be, I don't think a very super
it's a
hero
revenge story.
focused.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and she's
it's not going to be very
drinking.
super.
She's drinking
Yeah,
alcohol, and
yeah, this is
Well,
Superman is the Boy Scout, and though Supergirl is not the same as him, she still needs to be somewhat into that vein. She can
well, this from what I understand, this version of of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, in that story, she's dealing with the trauma. Trauma seems to be for
a
me
theme.
a theme in all these movies. She's dealing with the trauma of realizing her entire planet is destroyed, because that's the difference between her and Superman. She's like, biologically she should be like what, 10, 15 years older than Superman. She's the older cousin, but due to like her, she's getting caught in like a wormhole, or they always say like she got time dilation caused her to arrive at Earth like 20, 30 years after Superman. So that's why.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways they do it. In one, time dilation. The other one is she gets knocked out off course or something, and it takes longer.
So she remembers Krypton. These were real people to her. Her uncle, aunt, and uncle, her mother and father, her entire society. So, Mike, she's the answer of how would someone deal with all that loss?
the animated Superman, the animated series, he went looking on Krypton and found her. She was in suspended animation.
Yes. Yep. And there's
I think that is a dealing with that loss. That's a legitimate story, a good story to tell. But is that the first story you should be telling for Supergirl?
That's
Maybe
what a
we
lot
need
of people
to-
in her scene at the end of Superman, and she comes in drunk and just out of control like she was. People are like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "What
and
the
this
fuck
is supposed to be
going
this,
on?"
and this is supposed to be the girl that goes to the future, ends up with the Legion.
Yeah, and like,
well, I mean, she can go through stuff, but I mean, I think you want to set a baseline. You need to set up this. You're trying to set this new universe up. The last universe, the last DC, cinematic universe was really dark. Maybe you want to go with something a little bit more, especially if you're starting with Superman, right? Okay, Batman's supposed to be dark, sure, fine, but it's Superman. Maybe we should be a little bit more happy, a little bit more positive.
And then you can do that stuff. Did that with the movie last summer to an absurd degree in some places. They made David Cornsweet's Superman more human. Like see, it's like in Kill Bill when he says Superman's the real person, Clark Kent's the disguise. That's completely backwards. Clark Kent is the person. Superman is the alter ego. He had no memories of it. Like I keep saying, people keep forgetting that he had no memories of he didn't know he was an alien until his teenage years. Superman, Clark Kent is the person. Superman is the alter ego, and it's backward. It's completely opposite with Batman. Batman is the person. Bruce Wayne is the disguise. Because there's a scene in Batman Beyond, one of my favorite Batman series. Kevin Conroy, he says Bruce is being mind controlled. He's been like gaslit by one of the bad guys, and the voice in his head keeps saying Bruce, Bruce, Bruce this, Bruce that, Bruce that. And Terry, after they beat him, asked him, "It's like, how did you know it was fake?" He said, "Well, in my head, I don't. My name's not Bruce." He said, "Oh," and Terry has this great line. He's like, "Oh, of course, but that's my name now." Talking about Batman.
I like this one. I can't remember which animated movie it's from, but Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman meet each other all up.
It was a comic. It was a comic.
Well, it's also in one of the.
I don't remember that
things.
I have to go back.
Yeah, and they wrap. They go, okay, well, we need to know who we really are. And she puts the lasso around them so everybody tells the truth. And of course, when they get to Batman, he says, "Batman is my."
She like Wonder Woman's like, "I'm Diana, Princess of Themyscira." Clark Kent's like, Superman's like, I'm Clark Kent from Metropolis, Daily Planet reported, and all it says, Batman, I'm Batman. Like, there's another great panel that I absolutely love. It's Superboy and Lois Lane in the farm in the house, and all of a sudden you hear a knock on the door, and it's Batman. And Superboy's, I refuse to call this version Superman, but Superboy's like, knocking? What are you doing knocking? Since when does Batman knock? And Lois looks at him and says, he did that appearing thing in the kitchen one time. And the next panel is Batman. He's like, and I'll never do it again. Lois gets so mad at him for just doing his ninja appear thing. But it's they're just taking these stories and just like flipping them around too much. But in Supergirl, it's basically a revenge story. So from what I understand, some bounty hunters, and this is from the trailer the last final trailer that I reviewed. Some bounty hunters come in and they try to capture her, but they end up poisoning Crypto with somehow. Crypto's dying. And Crypto's the only link she has left to Krypton. So she goes on this whole thing, like, I have to go find this bounty hunter to get the antidote. Because there's this sweet little scene where Crypto's laying there just sick, and she's down, face down, rubbing. He's like, I can't lose you, boy. So it's that dog, like the loving dog revenge for hurting my dog kind of story. So
It's John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick, one of the best movies ever made.
So I mean, it's just I just think that I think we're going to see it with the Odyssey as well when that comes out. It's this sort of they're destroying all these classic, stories.
They're rewriting history.
Yeah, with these sort of LA liberal sensibilities that they're going to throw in
exactly.
there.
So,
exactly.
Now here's the release. Yeah, here's the release for this weekend. We got the Spielberg Disclosure Days coming out.
That's going to be interesting.
Then
I'm
Lionsgate.
interested in that one myself.
Yeah, Lionsgate is releasing the Asian film The Furious, which is supposed to be fantastic.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I've seen some of the trailers. It's high, from Asia, high impact, martial arts on that. Then of course here's the low dog on this one. Stop That Train with RuPaul is being released also this weekend.
Is that the name of the movie? Stop That Train with RuPaul?
Yeah, it's a movie with RuPaul.
No, is that the name of the movie?
Yes,
that's the name of the movie. Stop That Train. RuPaul.
It's Stop That Train. That's
yeah.
the name of the movie.
I believe RuPaul plays the president of the United States.
Is that a comedy or is that a?
It's supposedly. It's almost like
funny.
Soul Plane, in a way, but on a train. That's
and Soul Plane was funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not willing to say it's a dumpster fire yet because I haven't seen it. I haven't heard anything about it. It hasn't come out, but I mean, it does seem to be going that way.
And then and then also the same events that released Digital Circus is also releasing Studio Ghibli's re-release of Ponyo, which has already done 7,000 overseas already. It's a Studio Ghibli film festival that's going on. So it's
really Ponyo. That's a great film.
I don't think Studio
original.
Yeah,
they're re-releasing it.
They're re-releasing it. Then there's a couple of films in between that are re-releases. Like I Shot Andy Warhol from Janus Films, which is that's an old classic on there. And then just a couple of like a couple of Indian films and stuff. Nothing of major. I mean, Disclosure Day would be it. Supposedly Mutiny is being done in certain cities, which is the new Jason Statham, which is supposed to be out in August. But that might have been, they may have changed that already, which is Jason Statham doing like a whole alone on a boat, fighting the crew, like on a big cargo cruise, cargo boat.
Cargo ship, yeah.
Yeah, cargo ship, that basically full of people that are being human trafficked onto that.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
But I think they may have moved it to August. Because suppose it is listed for this week, in certain areas, but yeah, it might have been pushed because of
There's
disclosure
a
day.
there's a few re-releases that they're doing. Like this week was like Train Spotting was re-released, like Shrek last week.
Yeah.
Like they're doing this little, they seem to be hurting for
Well,
movies.
here in New York, we get it all. Because we have the Angelica, then we have the Second Avenue. I forgot what they call it on the Second Avenue one. Is called now, which shows Rocky Horror now. They all show a lot of older films.
Yeah, but that's what they normally do. Like these
know.
are re-releases into
Yeah.
the main
Re-releases,
theaters,
and
I think,
yeah,
right?
the IFC theater on the west
Yeah.
side on Broadway, and then there's one other theater, and then they show all these old classic films as well. So I have a friend of mine who basically sometimes he works with Criterion, sometimes he works with other that he puts out the old he restores the trailers to classic movies when they get re-released in the theaters. So sometimes he tells me, "Hey, this is coming out." It's like, really, to the point. But it looks like we are at the end of this week's episode. Once again, I want to thank RJ Carter for coming on. We learned so much, and we can't wait for that book to come out. Literally, we had a lot of fun. But we just wanted to hit up on there, and I'm putting this in the chat right now. 6 o'clock, 6 Eastern, right here on YouTube. Be sure to check out Dean. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today on Ever Games. He is doing, what is it that he's doing today? Creature Concepts. He's doing Creature Concepts on his show, on his game onto there. So do check that out. Also, Outpost, what do you got?
I will be doing either Friday or Saturday a review of Masters of the Universe.
Interesting
on there.
So be prepared for spoilers. I give 2 weeks notice. I give 2 weeks for you to see it. 2 weeks is up this weekend.
That's fair.
That's fair enough. Also, I want to thank Jason over at Sci-Fi for Me TV for helping us with RJ on there, his show. He's away right now. I think he's back this week. I think. I know he went away because he had some work to be done on there. Also, Death Angel Shadows is back for a little bit. So thank God he got back. He's there. His flight got delayed multiple times. So he was stuck in Texas at a con. So we're going to have some con footage coming out. In fact, we'll have con footage on this channel as well from that gaming con in Dallas as well. And Snob, what do we got tomorrow?
It's Babylon 5, The Summoning, episode 3. I think Outpost is going to be in there for that one as well.
Yep. We're getting to the good stuff.
He's our guest panelist.
Yep.
For the special guest panelist for the episode. And this, and then on Sunday, of course, it's movie night on the Top Lofty Lounge. It's the Animatrix we're going to be looking at, Cam and I.
That is one of my I mentioned with RJ, I love anthology series. The Animatrix is such a great anthology movie.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more skeptical about some of them, but I got to say the Animatrix is a good one. The Halo one is good. We might do that in the future.
That's another great one.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of short story anthology stuff, but I
am.
When I find a good one, I can get into it, and they can be pretty good. I'm a little, I got to be a little more open minded. So
yeah.
Right.
Also because you're watching Animatrix, also check out Robot Carnival, because one of the people that was on the Animatrix, that did the Animatrix, also did one years ago in the 80s called the Robot Carnival, which is a fantastic animation anthology, all different types of style. Guys who worked on this went on to do Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and many other great anime throughout the history of anime itself. And it's a great look at some styles that basically, some of them, they haven't been used in a long time, but it's well worth it. The 4K Master is out on physical media. Do grab it, but you can also see it on streaming as well on several streaming sites on there. Go ahead.
Yeah, you see what I got to put up with? Al's trying to program my own show for me. You got to do this next, do that next. Jeez.
I'm trying to help
When you let
I'm
Cam
trying to
do
help
it.
you. I'm trying
No,
to
I-
help
Hey, I-
on there.
Cam doesn't.
I know.
Cam doesn't program the show. He never gives me. I ask him to. Hey, what do you? I don't know. Dude, you decide.
Yeah.
I got to
You
decide
need,
everything.
you need,
yeah,
you need to
Gap
work on
after-
your programming for Cam.
Yeah. Gap
Yeah,
After Dark
Cam.
says, we've enjoyed the discussion. I dropped in and I'll be back to watch you guys again. I've just subscribed
Next
to
week.
everyone on the panel. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for the
Thank-
sub.
What's the? Do we have a topic for next week yet?
For the cafe?
Yeah.
Not yet. Working on 5 different things. But speaking
Secret.
of subject matters on there, this week, tomorrow, we only got 2 videos this week because we're starting Madman with the show, of course, the summer edition. That's right. We're starting it this week. We'll have some special videos coming up in the next couple of weeks. This week, we're going to be tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the Amazon axing the Stargate series. We'll be discussing that a little bit on that. Also on Thursday, if you're familiar with Aqua Teen Hunger Force,
I
Carrie
am.
Means, who done Frylock, he's in financial trouble again.
Oh no.
And basically he's almost homeless. He does have a GoFundMe running right now. I think it's about it's a little over 20,000 now right now that's running on that.
That's
So
good.
we do have the listing on that, but do check out the video on that. I do discuss on there. In fact, I'm probably going to
also,
try to get him on also to talk about
really?
his situation. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah,
He also
so
does Venture Brothers. He's also
Yeah.
Go
He
Team
does-
Adventure.
He
God,
does
I love
Adventure
that show.
Time. He does a lot of voices to that point. And it's a sad thing that you see someone that he got screwed over, and part of the reasoning, and now he's part of SAG, but before he was in SAG, he wasn't in SAG. He wasn't getting his royalties.
Oh, see, I have mixed feelings about unions, and having been part of the teacher union for a few years, I understand their importance now. And I don't. So unions are two-edged swords. You got to be careful with them. And I think he found out the hard way that you really need when you're in certain industries. It sounds like that's heartbreaking. He needs all the help he can get.
Yep. And just to give you a little hint for next week,
straight from him.
That'd be awesome.
and just to give you a little hint for next week's videos, we are talking about one cable company has shut down without notice, leaving everybody without internet access. Somewhere in the country, there's people without internet access right now going on.
In America, of all
also-
places.
Now, you guys remember Netflix, right?
Yes.
Netflix
Never heard of
DVD. Netflix.
Oh, the
mail-in
DVD.
service.
Yes.
The DVD
red
service.
box.
Yeah. Well, guess what? A new company has come forward, and they're doing the mail services on
that's
there.
cool.
So we got that coming next week, and then of course the big story next week video we're doing is UK regulators. EU regulators may force Paramount to sell either Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or both, just to so Paramount can merge with Warner. So they may have to give up one or both of those companies.
Wow. That's insane.
So that's coming up next week. So we got a lot on there. Don't forget Bad News Bards, of course, obviously onto there. And you never know what will pop up on any of our channels. Maybe a pop-up snob. Never know.
Oh, more pressure. Damn.
More pressure.
You didn't say, Snob, what are y'all going to be talking about Sunday night? You and Cam.
Oh,
You have
yes,
any
that's
idea?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
Animatrix.
The Animatrix movie night.
The Animatrix is going to be okay.
That's movie night. Movie night.
That's-
Our once a month movie night is the Animatrix
Yeah.
this week. Yeah.
So once again, thank you, RJ, for coming on. Thank you all those that showed up in the chat. They're all in. Sorry for there were situations with Rumble. Rumble finally kicked in on there, so we'll probably re-air that on Rumble for you. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you very much for showing up. We'll see you again. Bye-bye now.
Later.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We truly appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to check out our official merch shop and our amazing affiliate partners. Until next time, mwah!